It is a Southern soccer battle tonight as two cities connected by one road meet along I-65 in Tennessee. It's the defiant debutantes Birmingham smashing into top 4 Nashville, and you're in the perfect place to see it. It is game night for Nashville Soccer Club, and welcome to Middle Tennessee, where the days are getting shorter and so is the margin for error in the USL Eastern Conference. This is First Tennessee Park. This is where the boys in gold want to play their postseason soccer, and to do so, a win tonight against their most southern, stubborn neighbors, a near necessity. After a sweltering hot day, a sunset match between Nashville and Birmingham just minutes away. But before it all begins, I'll welcome you up to our broadcast booth. Glad to have you with us. I'm John Freeman, joined by former MLS player Jamie Watson. Big things at play today. Nashville fighting for top 4 position. Birmingham fighting for playoff positioning. What are the dynamics today, Jamie? A
lot to play for both teams. For Nashville, it's not only about looking to secure a playoff spot, which they can do so here in the next couple games, but secure a home playoff spot here at First Tennessee Park. That would be huge. But then on the flip side, for Birmingham, well, they're fighting for a playoff spot altogether. Sitting in 10th place today, they're on the road today, so I have a feeling that Birmingham may be a little bit more conservative in their game plan, looking to get anything from this match. If they walk away with a point or more, they'll certainly be happy with that.
It's been a hot day in Nashville, and down in the heat is our Kelly Glendenning on the field.
Thanks, John. Before the game, I spoke with head coach Gary Smith about having home field advantage for the first time since August 24th. Here's what he said.
Well, it did feel a long time. I wasn't aware that it was that long. Tonight's game sets us up for really the running of the season. We looked at the schedule from the very outset, and you look at those home games late on, and you always hope that they're going to be of benefit. There's a lot of things that you can take out of the equation when you stay at home. Obviously, travel being a big one, and the facility you're going to. So we're delighted to be here for this long stretch, and if we can get off to a good start, I think it stands us in good stead.
Now, Nashville SC has 9 wins on the road compared to just 6 at home, but they could close that gap in this final 6-game stretch. John?
Thank you very much, Kelly. The spotlight is on in Music City. A critical night in the run-in to the postseason. Birmingham once above the playoff line. Nashville once in the top 3. Lineups and opening kick on the way from Germantown. tonight included just 5 guaranteed home matches remaining for Nashville SC. A win tonight in front of those supporters, it would launch the boys in gold into 3rd place in the East, leaping the idle Rowdies of Tampa Bay. It's time for the starting lineups. Let's begin with the home side, who had 10 days to mull over their road loss to St. Louis. The result is a formational change into the 4-2-3-1. Matt LaGrassa ascends higher up the midfield in replacement of concussed playmaker Lebo Melodo. Ropapa Mensah, the lone striker, and Alan Wynn starts for the first time in 3.
Well, Alan Wynn has the ability to change this game, both for himself and for his teammates around him. He'll look to get in those pockets of space to be able to look to get Mensah in behind the line, but also he has the ability himself to create. He can score a goal, he can create a goal. If Nashville want to walk away with 3 points here today, it's going to predicate on a lot of the play of Alan Wynn tonight.
Nashville has won 7 of the last 9 matches in which Alan Wynn started. As for the Legion, they too are responding to a loss against St. Louis. Their Friday night defeat ended the longest unbeaten streak in the East. It also included a suspension-inducing yellow card to midfielder Anderson Asiedu. As a result, manager Tom Sohn 4 alterations to the 4-4-2, which operates in front of goalkeeper Matt Van Oekel.
Well, one of the most experienced goalkeepers in the entirety of USL. Much like Matt Pickens, Matt Van Oekel is so important to the back line. Communicates, does a very good job of organizing the guys in front of him. A big body, great shot stopper. If Nashville want to look to get in behind, they look to get him side to side and try to score on crosses in behind.
Well, the colors tonight are fitting. Nashville, vibrant and glowing with aspirations of being the gold standard of this league. Their Alabama adversaries, clad in black, happy to oblige in their role as the dark horse. They collide in the Tennessee twilight, not just for a simple match, Jamie, but one spiked with playoff implications.
It really is, and for both teams, you'll want to see how they want to come out. If you're Gary Smith, you want to see what the response is. You got veteran players like Darnell King. You want to make sure that they're very influential in the first couple minutes, getting up and down. Justin Davis on the other side. Gary Smith wants a fast start from his team, and he wants his team in the first 20 to 25 minutes to really set the tempo for tonight's game.
Let's examine the Vanderbilt Health Injury Report. It looks drastically different from its last iteration 10 days ago. The constant is Michael Reed, who's out for the season. But the newest additions are Cameron Lancaster and Lebo Melodo, who missed tonight with injuries acquired in training. Meanwhile, though, Daniel Rios and Derek Jones leap off the list and into the 18 tonight for the boys in gold, available as substitutes.
Well, when you look at that injury report, that all leads to Ropapa Mensah leading the line tonight for Nashville. A little bit of different role than what we're used to seeing him, but a great turn within the first minute. Good change of pace, wins the corner, and a big opportunity off the left foot of Justin Davis.
Gary Smith told us he wanted an early corner kick or set piece for Nashville. Here they go. In the 2nd minute is Justin Davis. Win. Oh, it's neat combination work for Davis. The cross comes in, partially altered. Ken Tribbett battling along with Culbertson. And Ken Tribbett already drawing the ire of our official Matthew Thompson, who in the 2nd minute awards the caution to Tribbett. This is an official, Matthew Thompson, who presides over Nashville for the first time this season, Birmingham for the 2nd. Out of the 15 most used officials in the USL this season, no one has issued less cards than Thompson. And here he is pulling one out in the 2nd minute.
Well, he didn't waste any time, did he, on that one? And this is important because Ken Tribbett has to play the defensive mid-role tonight next to Bolo Akinyode. So now on the yellow card, 2 minutes in, it's going to change the way he plays. He's going to have to be sure going into tackles because of that yellow card so early on.
Take a look at the yellow card offense.
And the question for me is, does Ken Tribbett, when he wins the ball clearly back, gets the follow through, and there's no malice in that, so I can understand why the question's being asked. How you can give a card, especially on the first tackle, and one that he clearly wins the ball.
Forward pairing tonight for Birmingham, J.J. Williams and Brian Wright. 7 in black, both players on loan from Major League Soccer clubs. It's Williams from the Crew, it's Brian Wright from New England. Gary Smith called the front 3 of Birmingham, Williams, Wright, and also Prosper Kasim. Says they are one of the most dynamic forward trios in the entire league.
got the pace, they've got the ability to stretch a defense. And for the back line, Forrest Lasso, Jimmy Ockford, they're going to want to make sure to keep the players in front of them, not get into too many foot races with Williams, with Wright. And by doing so, you've got to be smart and early with your positioning. Those two are so important to the back line tonight.
Nashville led tonight by Gary Smith. Comes in tonight with a little bit of personal confidence, knowing that out of all the opposing managers he's faced in his career, the man he's defeated the most across the way there on the right, that's Birmingham manager Tom Sohn. 3 of the 4 wins for Smith over Sohn came while they were managers in charge of Major League Soccer clubs. Gary Smith and his Nashville team, as is Birmingham, coming off a loss to St. Louis. It was Smith who told us that loss on the road to St. Louis, quote, a reality check for his team.
It really was, and especially at a vital point in the season when they were still vying to go top of the Eastern Conference. So response is definitely needed from this team, and he said so to us that he wanted an early response in the first 20 to 25 minutes in which they took the pace of the game, got the opportunity early, the corner kick that they did off of Justin Davis. He'll be encouraged by that, but really to set the pace of this game. That's what Gary Smith wants to see.
He also told us he doesn't want his team to get caught too high up the field and get hypnotized into a Birmingham counterattack.
Well, that's when they're at their most dangerous, isn't it, John? With those front 3 and the speed that they have, when Birmingham lull you into that false sense of security, maybe the possession in the final third for Nashville, as soon as it turns over, they look to break out in 1 or 2 passes if possible.
Hey, fans, keep up to date with us all season long. Follow our journey to Major League Soccer at NashvilleSC.com. Carlton Belmar has turned the ball over in a peculiar position in the path of J.J. Williams. And the connection with him and Brian Wright fractured by Matt Pickens, and Nashville embarking down the far side with Justin Davis. These two teams met back in May. It was a 1-0 Nashville win. Nashville had just 2 shots on goal. One of them was a penalty kick scored by Daniel Rios.
Alan Wynn, the player, being able to draw the penalty. We focused on him in the pregame show. Shows his ability to get him behind.
Squared in front by Carlton Belmar. The early run came from LaGrassa, and it was sent behind the midfielder. And Ken Tribbett again in another confrontation with Culbertson. Remember, Ken Tribbett already sitting on a yellow card.
That win at West Community Stadium earlier in the season was really important because this Birmingham team was still trying to figure out who they were. Went on a streak where they lost. I didn't win a game in 9, and then they went without losing in 9. And I think there's finally a sense of who they are and what they're going to be, and Tommy Sohn has to make that adjustment as he starts to get adjusted to life in USL and the players that he has in this inaugural season. And he started to find out his ability at times is just to say, this is where we're best, when we take a little bit of pressure, give up possession to the other team, but then go quickly on the counterattack, as you alluded to earlier, John.
And Birmingham had gone 76 days between losses before falling at home to St. Louis on Friday night. A team that at one point had a 624-minute clean sheet streak. Here's Rupapa Mensah auditioning the outside back, Akeem Ward. The last touch was Ghanaian and out for a goal kick.
Fantastic ball from Justin Davis to put Mensah in, and just the ability of Mensah to be able to push the line, ask questions of Kyle Fisher, Mathieu Laurent, just making sure that they have to be accounted for the Ghanaian at all times. Justin Davis, preferred tonight to Taylor Washington, brings in that experience, that ability, when to go forward, but also when to sit in with that devastating front three that Birmingham has.
Gary Smith wants his front three to get after the fullbacks of Birmingham. One of them is Akeem Ward, who Nashville had a good look at earlier this year when he was a member of Loudoun United. So his second trip to First Tennessee Park. And here is Alan Wynn going right by Ward and forcing the right back to handle the ball.
Akinyode getting a talking to here from referee Matthew Thompson, because as Alan Wynn goes around the defender, Akeem Ward, he sticks his hand out and stops the ball. So Akinyode is saying that's a play in which you would give a caution for the handball in that situation. But when asking for that yellow card, then referee Matthew Thompson has a word with Akinyode about that. Let's take a look at it. It's a lovely little bit of skill from Alan Wynn. Just goes around one way or the other, and Akeem Ward, as he's falling down, it's clumsy, and I actually think it's the right decision in the end to not caution. Wasn't as blatant as I first thought.
Set up a free kick. Position prosperous enough for Nashville to bring it center halves forward. Last man back is Darnell King. Darting forward is Wynn. This time meets the roadblock of Ward. Tribbets. King. Towards the leaping Matt LaGrassa. One of the first moments of action for Matt Van Oekel, the 32-year-old goalkeeper. He's teammates with Justin Davis, who starts tonight for Nashville at Minnesota United.
That was a former teammate as well with Justin Davis, Matt Van Oekel. One thing I do know about Matt Van Oekel, those kind of crosses won't do it. He'll come out and eat those up all game long. Big 6'4" body, great in the air, great shot stopper. It's got to be low, it's got to be hard work. Gives him that moment of indecision. Do I stay, do I go? A little bit lower, those high-hanging crosses, those are easy pickings for him.
King afforded space. Triangular passing, and now Belmar. Jimmy Ockford in his 9th start for Nashville. In the previous 8, Nashville's conceded just 3 total goals. Wynn. Davis has overlapped. Nashville able to work out of a tight area. Rolled towards Belmar. Taken down by Mensah. Clairvoyant defending by Culbertson.
Up until that final ball, that was really patient. Good buildup from Nashville. It started on one side. They're probing, they're prodding. They're not able to get on the right side. It makes its way over to the left side with Justin Davis backing again into Mensah. That's what Gary Smith wants to see. That's dictating the pace of the game, getting Birmingham moving side to side, waiting for the moment in which somebody doesn't do their job, and then that's when you look to penetrate.
How different is it, Jamie, starting a match as a striker as opposed to coming off the bench? And the reason I'm asking, Ropapa Mensah this season, not normally a starter. Injuries to Daniel Rios and Cameron Lancaster has forced him into that position. All 5 of Ropapa Mensah's goals this season have come in the second half.
It's absolutely a different role, and for Ropapa Mensah, even leading the line is a different role. So starting and up top, he's asked to stay a little bit higher. You've got some very creative players underneath you. You've got Matt LaGrassa pushing up a little higher with Meloto out of the lineup. You've got Alan Wynn on one side and Belmar on the other. So for him, the higher he can stay up the field, Mensah's better off for that. And I think so far, he's been influential so far in the first couple minutes, and it's a bright start for Mensah. think Gary Smith will be pleased with the first 13 minutes, but it is a different role for him tonight, certainly.
Well, here comes Birmingham with right. Important touch from Jimmy Youngford to defuse the attack. Ladle towards Alan Wynn. Covering defender is Fisher. Zach Harivo. Challenge was legal, and now Mikey Lopez barks down the far side. And well, Matthew Thompson was encouraging a play on, and then once the advantage dissipated, he is awarded a free kick to Birmingham.
Once he saw the pass go wide and it was left a little bit short and looked as though Justin Davis had won the angle, was going to win it, that's when he called back and realized the advantage for Birmingham was lost after the tackle from behind on Harivo. And Akinoti just trying to get around. Harivo doing a good job getting himself in between Bolu and the ball. And it's actually good officiating in the end. And for Birmingham, a big opportunity now if you're Nashville, making sure you're accounted for. The first set piece they've really had to pick up tonight, so making sure the marks that you work on with the coaching staff all week in training, everyone's accounted for at this exact moment.
There is no premier target for Birmingham. Whipped in by Culbertson, easily embargoed by Justin Davis. Legion reload. Eric Avila always slipped through two defenders. His cross partially deflected. And in the end, out for a goal kick. Well, fans, see the latest team content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at our handle, Nashville SC.
Eric Avila making his first mark on the game and going at three Nashville defenders, ultimately running out of space. But Eric Avila, one of the most veteran players on this entire Legion roster, brings his experience, ton of experience in MLS, but most recently in USL, and a player that's dynamic, that's shifty, that is creative, can score a goal, but very good at connecting with players around him.
When you say Avila's experienced 10 clubs in 9 years.
That's experience. A lot of experience moving, traveling.
It's a lot of ink on contracts.
One of the real good guys in the game and instrumental for this Birmingham team as they start to build their identity in the USL.
Win in the attacking third. Recruits Justin Davis forward. Oh, how neatly done this is from Nashville. Flying in was Wynn, and flying off his line was Van Oekel.
That interchange is so good on the far side from Nashville, and it's just the last heavy touch from Alan Wynn that gets away from him, but very good build-up on that far side.
Nashville, one of the top scoring teams in the USL Eastern Conference and one of the top defenses. Birmingham stats, perhaps not fair, knowing that they had a midseason renaissance. They are drastically influenced by their slow start at the beginning of this season. Now there's a player down there, and that's J.J. Williams, but also on the other side of the field down is Zach Harivo. So two Birmingham Legion players down, and a muscular challenge and a fair one from Forrest Lasso.
Yeah, good, clean shoulder-to-shoulder tackle. I think it's more of the landing that catches J.J. Williams more than anything. And Zach Harivo down, looking in a bit of distress at the moment. Dropped down behind the play, and as that attack built for the Legion, he just sat down, and we'll look to see if he's able to continue on 17.5 minutes in.
And the Legion are already coming in battered and bruised. Several players out, including playmaker Eddie Apoku, and also Anderson Asiedu, who is their typical holding mid, suspended via yellow card accumulation in their loss versus St. Louis on Friday night. And decisions to make for Tom Sohn, the 53-year-old manager. Reminder that all medical assistance here in Nashville provided by Vanderbilt Health. You've been a player before, Jamie. When they go down voluntarily, it's never a good sign.
No, that's not. We'll get a look at it here. And Harivel moments ago was in that tackle with Akinyote, but he's all by himself. And as he plays the ball, that's when he starts to pull up. And you're right, John. That's the moment in which you never want to see the non-contact injury. So we'll wait and see if he's able to continue on. You've got Mikey Lopez on the field. He's playing out wide right. He's a central player that can go in there and do it, but he's a little bit different of a player. So it's more of a question of if Tommy Sohn has to make a change for Birmingham, what does he prefer? Does he want a midfielder coming in, or does he want a defender coming in and pushing Lopez into the middle a little bit more?
%67% of the possession for Nashville. Not too far from what we expected. Birmingham eager to embark on counterattacks. A rare constellation of passes in the attacking third. Avila. It's a neat idea. Mikey Lopez has inherited. Important touch from Jimmy Ockford. And slammed to safety. Fans get Nashville SC updates and alerts all year long by clicking follow on ESPN.com. Again, they have found space down the far flank. Looked in low and behind Williams. Mensah dispossessed by Mathieu Laurent. Here's Belmar onside. Alan Wynn with him. It's a 3-on-3 if they hurry. Alan Wynn saved by Van Oekel.
Oh, a good bit of deception from Alan Wynn. As the break happens for Nashville, he's able to cut inside, and it's a good strike from distance. More often than not, players tend to go for the far post from there. So Alan Wynn changing it up, going for power towards the near post, and a good save from Matt Van Oekel.
Less than 60 total minutes over the last 3 matches for Alan Wynn. Mostly a casualty of the formation change. Nashville was in the 3-5-2, now they're in the 4-2-3-1. A formation in which Gary Smith says, in this formation, at that left wing spot, Alan Wynn is the best player in the league in that position.
High praise from the coach, who's coached a lot of good players over his day, but I think it just shows how influential Alan Wynn can be, and he can be the best player on the field.
Hopeful cross in towards Belmar. Partially nicked by Culbertson, and out for the Coca-Cola corner kick.
And I want to go back and look. This is a great angle from behind, because when you get from that angle, the tendency is to wrap your foot around it, try to aim for the far post. So Alan Wynn just disguises it a bit, cuts it back against the grain, testing Matt Van Oekel early, who gets 2 hands to it, gives up a rebound right to the middle of the box, but nobody able to get on the end of it for Nashville.
'22nd minute, Coca-Cola corner kick, Alan Wynn. Driven low, battled for it, and popped out to Akinyote. Options abound for LaGrassa. And again, Culbertson to impede.
LaGrassa doing a really good job, taking a couple steps back, so he gives himself that space for Akinyote to play it in, stays in an onside position and fizzes it across. Nobody from Nashville being able to react first, though.
Grappling with Williams, taking exception to the final tug. 2 big humans. Williams 6'4", Akinyote 6'2".
Some big boys right there, and Akinyote doing a great job, just feeling the pressure. And It's an innocuous challenge from Williams, but what this does is it gives Nashville the ability to get the big boys forward. You get Tribbett forward, you get Lasso forward, Ockford, and then the delivery is crucial. You want to drop it in right at that penalty spot, right in front of the 6-yard box.
It's hurled in, the header just wide. It was from Nashville's premier aerial target, Ken Tribbett.
Straight from the training ground. Pick it up, set it down, and then the quick one, making sure everyone's alert. And Ken Tribbett, the one player you must account for if you're Birmingham Legion, is left unmarked. It's a great ball. It's got the pace. He's trying to snap the header around to beat Matt Van Okel at the near post and just can't guide it on target. But very, very good early sign from Nashville off the set piece now that they've started to create. And as we're 24 minutes in, John, you start to see the response that Gary Smith wanted. I think that he'll be pleased with this. Maybe a little bit faster at times in possession going side to side, but Nashville has certainly looked in control of this game so far. And this right now, I think, is the response that he wanted, that he told us he wanted to see after the loss against St. Louis last week.
The dynamics of this game, Jamie. Talk us through the psychology of it. Nashville clearly desires 3 points. Gary Smith has gone on record saying basically they have to win all but maybe one of their final 6 games here. And the other one can't be a loss. So basically an undefeated run in just to have a chance at first place. And knowing that you get Birmingham at home, this is a game that Nashville, if they want to contend for the title, must win. On the other hand, Birmingham, you wonder, is a point enough for them on the road, knowing that that would give Charleston the opportunity to jump them over the weekend? Get your answer in a second, but first it's Mikey Lopez. Plopped in, Pickens off his line, and Pickens on the floor. Retaken by Avila. Hoisted in the direction of right. Shepherded by Darnell King. And his first touch was to safety. Culbertson, time to ponder his cross. It's in a good area. Williams stooping low. Clanged off of Forrest Lasso for the corner kick.
Each center back for Nashville making very important plays, but I want to go back to the first one because Jimmy Ockford, he has to go for this one. Knowing Matt Pickens is going to come out, knowing J.J. Williams is jumping up forward as well, he's got to be brave in the attempt. And then the second opportunity, we take another look at a second look at that one. It's a big header from Ockford, a combination of a punch from Pickens there, and very good combination, brave defending going in there, and at an important time, because if he doesn't, J.J. Williams is knocking right at the doorstep.
Matt Pickens looking for his 100th career clean sheet tonight. Been stuck at 99 for a while.
Well snuffed out
by LaGrassa.
You said it, John. Just they were on the same page. They knew what to expect. That's preparation in the week leading up, understanding that if they give this look, they might be apt to go do a short corner, and that's exactly what they did there, John.
It's careened out to Ward. It's got his defender Davis leaping in the air, and now Williams cut across. Rebounds back out to the striker. He recruited 2 defenders over. And down goes Allen Wynn. Okay, back to the original question, the psychology of this match. Birmingham needing points just to make the playoffs. Nashville trying to keep its slim title hopes alive. How does that impact the strategies and dynamics of this game as it grows older?
Well, the fact it's here at First Tennessee Park, Nashville SC will feel that they should take nothing less than 3 points. So as the game starts to go on 0-0, the longer it stays this way, there's going to be more of a sense of urgency from Gary Smith's side. And if you're Birmingham, 0-0, you're completely content with, because you always have the ability on the counter attack with your front three to go and steal something from this game. Smash and grab, if you will. And look, everyone from around USL Championship will be watching this tonight, and knowing that this game has huge implications, Nashville can jump Tampa, as you mentioned, and just be 1 point off of New York and Indy at the top of the Eastern Conference.
This is the game to watch in the USL tonight. In fact, it is the only professional soccer match occurring right now in North America. Foul goes on Akinyoti.
That's Bolo Akinyoti, though, isn't it, though? Just being there, being a menace from that defensive midfield spot, and not doing it in a way that blatantly gets you into the referee's book early on, but those little knocks start to help you win that midfield battle. And the way Birmingham play with their diamond midfield, at times it's going to be 4-on-3 when they tuck their outside midfielders in. LaGrasse, Akinyoti, and Tribbett have a big task tonight. At times it'll be down a man.
Take it you didn't appreciate those type of defensive midfielders too much in your playing days?
No, it's not great. My ankles never appreciated that, John. But I think that's the beauty of the game, is understanding the fine line of being able to do it enough that it's a menace and a problem, but doesn't get you in the referee's book early on.
Long hopeful throw towards Mensah. Destroyed by Fisher. Lopez, the lung-busting run. McKee Ward to his right. Instead, opted for the more direct option, and it was the incorrect one. Gobbled up by Pickens. Major League Soccer is almost here. Season tickets are now available. Ticket packages start at just $25 a match. Payment plans are available for you to purchase your 2020 MLS season tickets. All you got to do, go to NashvilleSC.com.
Almost here, and it will be an exciting time for soccer as it continues to grow here in Nashville and the entire state of Tennessee. Just a few short months away.
Jamie, you're a part of a team moving up to MLS or an organization. It will weigh on the minds of the players as well.
Oh, it certainly will, and you'll test the professionalism of the players. Can you go out and give a performance knowing you're being scrutinized for the next step in your career and in the team's career?
It's Alan Wynn, who's sliced by one defender, carrying towards the inline. And an SOS tackle from Mikey Lopez concedes the Coca-Cola corner kick.
And as we're talking about Major League Soccer players and potentially players, Alan Wynn is a player that's on the lips of everybody around here because of this ability to just drop the shoulder, get across, and ultimately runs out of real estate. But he's telling Mensah immediately, get across Van Oekel, get across the near post, because then you get the defender running at the goal, you get Mensah running at the goal, and really from there, the pace will be created on the cross, and any sort of deflection can end up in the back of the Birmingham Legion net.
Launched in near post. Oh, it skips through everyone. And just shy of the far stick. Disappointment from the goalkeeper, Van Oekel. And plenty of questions to ask. And where was the finishing touch?
That's all it needed, a teasing and testing ball. It makes its way through a whole host of bodies inside the box, and that's poor defending from the Legion. But if you're Ken Tribbett or you're anybody else following up at the back post, you take the chance that if this makes its way through, you have a tap in at the back post and nobody is there for Nashville to slam it home. Some of the best goal scorers, John, in those moments always take the chance. What if 6-7 players all miss this collectively and they put themselves in the position, and the game needed a moment of brilliance from a player to just think, what if? And nobody is on that forward thought process of thinking that there, because that would have been the easiest goal anybody would have scored all season long, yet it just rolls out harmlessly.
Well, there's been a coming together on the far side. J.J. Williams is involved. He is one yellow card away from suspension in their next match. And also present in the confrontation is Forrest Lasso. It's Lasso who will get the majority of the discussion with Matthew Thompson. Anything in this, Jamie?
Well, the frustration from Williams, who's been on the receiving end of a couple of challenges, and that's the part he didn't appreciate. It was Lasso trying to just step up and over, and Williams stood up at that moment. Nothing in there for me.
Avila reloads. Williams headed across. Oh, it's nearly turned in, but wide. From our angle, it looked more of a threat. Instead, it was an insurance header from Forrest Lasso.
Great little flick in from Williams, inventive, but Lasso knows exactly where he is on the field, and from our vantage point, it looked quite scary, but this will be the best look at it. Forrest Lasso knows exactly where he is, and he knows for him that's a mile wide of the goal. It's smart. Been in that spot a million times. Just guides that wide.
Does allow for the Coca-Cola corner kick. Taken by soaring Ken Tribbett. Now Avila is deemed onside. And now the offside flag comes up. And it will be Nashville's free kick after all. You look at the spine of this Nashville team. Lasso, Ockford, Akinyoti, Tribbett. Incredible size, incredible height. It's so difficult to go over them.
It really is. And then on the outside of that, you've got so much speed with Justin Davis and Darnell King. So it's difficult for teams to break down this Nashville SC team. And as we saw earlier, third in the league, only giving up 25 goals in 28 games played on the season. Those are staggering numbers. It's led them to 15 wins on the season. But Gary Smith always has his team prepared defensively, and this team's no different.
Alan Wynn has been bright and brilliant here in this first half. Eyeing an entry point. Well, fans follow Nashville SC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+. Home to the USL, MLS, and more. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com.
Fantastic partnership with ESPN Plus and the USL Championship, USL League One, and J.J. Williams is going to go into the book after a little bit of thoughtful consideration from referee Matthew Thompson. My guess is persistent infringement because there wasn't much in it, but yet he's been involved in most of the confrontations and stoppages of play in the first 36 minutes of this game, and so he'll go into the referee's book here. You hear Coach Tommy Sohn saying stay tight, because a few minutes ago from this same exact spot, Ken Tribbett was left unmarked at the top of the six, and you cannot give the big man another opportunity like that if you're the Legion.
And that yellow card does very little for Nashville. That is good. There's the little kick out, because the next match for Birmingham is Indy 11, a team that Nashville wants to drop points, and Williams is now suspended for that match. Well, attempt at the spectacular. Rebounds out to Alan Wynn. So back to reconfirming my point. Indy 11 is above Nashville in the standings. Needs to drop some points if Nashville wants to finish above them.
And the yellow card conceded leads to this opportunity. What innovation there. Lead from Tribbett to try to get on the end of it. Big man goes with his head the first time, tries the acrobatic there, but you're right, the implications for Tommy Sohn next week in the Birmingham Legion will be, they'll be without J.J. Williams, who on the season has been one of their most devastating attackers, has the ability to take the defense and really stretch the game for Birmingham. 6 goals on the season, yet he'll be out for that crucial matchup. And bittersweet, as you mentioned, for Nashville, because you'd like him to do a little bit of damage to one of the few teams that's sitting above you in the table, but he won't be eligible for the next match due to yellow card accumulation.
Darnell King. Belmar. Mensah. King's first time cross. Greeted by LaCrossa and turned right into the basket of Van Oekel.
Either side of Matt Van Oekel, and you just wonder if that enough to beat the big man in goal for Birmingham. But Matt LaCrossa, that late run from the attacking midfield position, asked a little bit of a different role tonight from Gary Smith. He wants LaCrossa to be the late runner that can be unaccounted for at times, and really good defending in the end to try to throw LaCrossa off, because if the defender for Birmingham isn't there, That's a free look inside the 6, and great ball in from Darnell King. Great weight on it.
Nashville buzzing. It's Allen Wynn, and the flag is up.
Ooh, just a second too late on that one, John. It was one more dribble. It was 1/2 second too long because Allen Wynn from that left mid position had come across unaccounted for, across the face of the back four for the Legion, just waiting for that timing. When you have that full head of steam, you can't slow down. You're at the mercy of your teammate to play the ball at the right time, and it's a little bit late from King there. This is why Allen Wynn, though, is one of Gary Smith's favorite players in this formation in the league, because this undoes the defense. Whose man is that? It starts out as the right back, Akeem Ward, but as he starts to go across both Laurent and Fisher into the range of Culbertson at the left back, who accounts for Allen Wynn there? He goes unaccounted for, but he runs into the offside position because it's just a little bit too late from King.
Here he goes again. A burst of speed from Wynn. And the cross far below his high standards. Now the thing about Allen Wynn, because he is a thoroughbred, he burns out quickly. He's not going to be a 90-minute player at this pace. If you're Nashville, hope that you can get some sort of production out of his efforts before his gas tank hits empty.
When you got Daniel Rios on the bench tonight, I just wonder if we'll get a chance to see him later on in the match. And with Mensah being able to play in that midfield anywhere across the 3 behind the number 9 position, can Rios make his way in, toe the line for Nashville, as we've seen him do so well in the Nashville SC Gold, and you hope to get a chance to see him maybe later on if the game dictates it.
Soccer fans, get your official Nashville SC gear, including MLS styles, online at nashvillesc.com. They've developed a supply line to Darnell King. Continues to test this near flank. Pivot point is LaGrassa. Davis, feathered cross. Belmar was crashing in. Final result is a Legion goal kick. Overambitious header from Jimmy Ockford. Out-leaping Brian Wright, but doing so illegally. Birmingham yet to truly threaten on target.
It's been largely in part thanks to Jimmy Ockford and Forrest Lasso, and as he's fighting for position, he's got his eyes fixated on the ball and just trying to make sure to establish that position on right, and just happens to catch him on the side of the head in a set piece opportunity for Birmingham,
which they take quickly. Crucial header from Forrest Lasso. It does result in another Coca-Cola corner kick.
Really important header from Forrest Lasso. Backpedaling, hard to get height as you're running backwards, yet Forrest Lasso is able to time that to perfection and just get anything on it to guide it high and wide of his goal, and Matt Pickens tried to keep it in, and it was deemed to have gone just over the end line.
Closing minutes of this first half from First Tennessee Park. Turned away by Ockford. Reinserted by Avila. Culbertson has crept in. He's fired it low. Trying to find a shaft of light on that near post. Finding the chest of Matt Pickens instead.
Working on career shutout number 100. Matt Pickens does a great job moving his feet, gets set at the near post, and as that ball is snapped down, it comes off the grass, picks up a little bit of speed, and Pickens is able to turn that wide. Important save.
That may have kissed the frame of the goal on the way out. Culbertson continuing to be curious about that near post. Matt Pickens just a few minutes ago crossed the mark in which he has now played 30,000 league minutes in his career. Did so by crossing the 38th minute of this match. Prosper Kassim. Repelled by Davis.
30,000 minutes. That's just an absurd number. It shows longevity, professionalism, to be able to keep yourself healthy and in shape, to be able to continue to perform at a high level at 37, going on 38. The consummate professional Matt Pickens has been all throughout his career. MLS Cup winner, US Open Cup winner.
Here's Justin Davis. Cross, a tantalizing one to the near post. Okay, so 30,000 minutes over 300 professional appearances. Did you ever play a game against Matt Pickens?
Yeah, I believe
Sure
I did.
did.
Yeah. Back in his days when he was playing with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Got a chance to play against him, and let me tell you, at 5'8.5" on a good day, Matt Pickens is very intimidating to go against.
Oh, there's been a robust challenge near the midfield stripe from Darnell King. It was awkward at best. Birmingham player buckled by it. And Matthew Thompson, a referee that has not awarded a red card in 8 straight matches, with a decision to make. Darnell King hoping for yellow. And profusely apologizing.
Well, he knew right in the moment that it happened. There was no malice in it instantly. He holds his hand up and says, I know I got him. I know that it's a booking, but for me, there's nothing more than to it. The card should match the color of the jersey here and nothing else. It is from behind, and that's what the Legion players are trying to put into the ear of referee Matthew Thompson, but understanding the situation, the moment, the player, there's been no animosity from Darnell King in his game to make you warrant anything more than a yellow, in my opinion.
King full of remorse. As Prosper Kassim being tended to. We'll have a look at the replay in a moment. It is yellow for Darnell King, and no complaints from King.
No, he knew, and a yellow and a stern talking to is the right adjudication on the moment. And it's not even Darnell King's feet that get tangled up. It's the upper body. It's actually Kassim who's anticipating the contact from behind, who leaves his leg from behind and throws himself backwards. And I think when he gets a chance to look at it later, and referee Matthew Thompson looks at it later, he'll deem it to be the exact right decision, because while everyone was screaming and shouting for more from behind, there wasn't actually any contact of the legs from behind.
We see the player bend backwards.
You think the worst normally, don't you, John? It wasn't there.
So King becomes the second Nashville player in the book of Matthew Thompson, joining the name of Kent Tribbets. Just seconds remaining here in this first half. It's been with few opportunities. Tedious in moments, frantic in others. And now it has reached its conclusion. 45 minutes of soccer down, Nashville and Birmingham without a goal as they head to the dressing rooms. Jamie, quickly your thoughts here on this first half.
I think Gary Smith will be the more pleased of the managers, but having said that, 0-0 will fit Birmingham Legion and their game plan to try to get something from this match. Gary Smith will want something more from his team being dangerous going forward.
Nashville has turned 7 halftime draws into wins this season. That is the most in the Eastern Conference. Can they do it again from First Tennessee Park against one of the most stubborn teams in the USL Championship? It is our halftime presented by Nissan, and it is coming up next. Stats, highlights, and a whole lot more from Middle Tennessee. Nashville 0 and the Legion of Birmingham 0 as well at half.
Welcome to Halftime presented by Nissan. Nashville SC is always looking for ways to bring soccer and music together. The club's latest collaboration is coming with Pilgrimage Music Festival in Franklin, Tennessee. Here's more.
Going to the Nashville soccer club game was a blast. You know, I'd been in the Sounds Stadium before, but seeing it, retrofitted with the soccer pitch, it's a pitch, was really cool. And just being down there right next to the field with all the people cheering and beating on the drums was a really it was a rush for sure. And I enjoyed it. You got to see it live, soccer live, just because you get a sense of the excitement of the game and the speed of the game. So having now gone to a game and experiencing it live is I'm a fan for sure. It's intoxicating, the sound, the singing. So it was a blast. And my kids, say, when can we go back? Back in 2013, the day after Thanksgiving, I took a jog out to Harlansdale, and I found myself out at this farm. Harlansdale is a 248-acre farm. It's on the historic register, natural amphitheaters and rolling hills. And I was catching my breath after a jog, and I was like, this is the best setting for a music festival I've ever seen. I want to do a multi-genre festival that's family-friendly, that celebrates all the music of Nashville. We're about to celebrate year 5 of Pilgrimage with an amazing lineup: Keith Urban, Foo Fighters, The Killers, Lauren Daigle, Leon Bridges, Nathaniel Rateliff, Better Than Ezra, and we couldn't be more thrilled. So I'm a big part of it. It's bigger than any one person or an idea, and I'm just a humble player in a much bigger team. Because Nashville Soccer Club, it's a family-friendly thing. You bring the whole family. Pilgrimage is the same way. For us, it's 10 and under free. We have an amazing kids area. It's called the Little Pilgrims area. And what we wanted to show is that an amazing, cool, edgy, fun music experience and family friendly are not mutually exclusive. You can put them together, and when it's done right, they work incredibly. And so bring the whole family, enjoy Pilgrimage, 2 days, September 21st and 22nd. We can't wait to see you out there.
Stats and standings are coming up next on Halftime, presented by Nissan. Stay tuned.
A gorgeous summer night, a late summer night, the last week of summer here at First Tennessee Park, and Nashville SC and the Birmingham Legion tied at 0. It is our halftime presented by Nissan. I'm John Freeman, joined by Jamie Watson. And Jamie, let's go ahead and dive right into the first half stats. There weren't a whole lot of massive moments in this one. You look just at the shots there. Birmingham just with 1 on target, Nashville with 2. What do you take out of all the numbers when you look at them?
Well, Nashville certainly ran the show in the middle of the park, and Birmingham showed flashes of moments on the counterattack, but Nashville's got to turn that possession and those shots into real quality, dangerous shots. Matt LaGrosse had a chance. Ken Dribbett off of a set piece from Justin Davis with their best looks, but nothing that really tested Matt Van Oekel and forced something spectacular from the big man. They've got to get more and more better chances, quality chances, as the second half goes on.
Yeah, and a stat that's not on the screen in front of you, it's Brian Wright, the striker for Birmingham, one of their main goal scorers. Just 9 total touches in that first half. And J.J. Williams, his counterpart, not many more with just 15.
Shows how good Forrest Lasso and Jimmy Ockford are doing against those two very dangerous, very dynamic attackers for Birmingham.
So we wonder, would either of these two teams be happy with the point? We can tell you Nashville's certainly not. Birmingham, intentions may be in question here because a point would put them just 1 point behind St. Louis in the bottom of that top 10 that make the playoffs. Nashville on the other end would still be in 4th place if they got just a point, and they would continue to lose opportunities to mount points up against Tampa Bay, Indy, and New York, the teams that they're chasing?
Well, you start to look at it. The old adage is win at home, tie on the road. And right now, Birmingham is doing their job. They're getting the point right now as it stands. Nashville, if they want to really contest for a home playoff game, this is a game in which all eyes across USL Championship are watching that you must get 3 points from.
This is a massive next 3 halves at home at First Tennessee Park for Nashville. The half coming up tonight against Birmingham and then against Pittsburgh, the team that is loitering in 5th place, just below them in the standings. It is a huge week here for Nashville if they want to finish in the top 4 or better.
The USL Championship schedules were good to Nashville SC. Now it's up to them to do the business at home.
Teams back out of the dressing rooms. We will have the second half kickoff, but first, our highlights are next when we return from First Tennessee Park on our halftime presented by Nissan.
Hello, soccer fans. I'm meteorologist Justin Chambers. Hopefully enjoying the game so far. Definitely a warm and muggy night. And temps are going to be in the lower 70s once you leave the game later on this evening and in the overnight hours. Mainly clear skies and mild temps. More heat is on the way for us on Wednesday. We're going to stay in that same hot and humid weather pattern. You'll see a few clouds out there Wednesday afternoon. Maybe even see a stray shower in the Cumberland Plateau. But don't worry. Cooler and drier air on the way by the time we get into Thursday and Friday. Enjoy the rest of the game.
And beyond that forecast, Saturday's weather also looking very good for when Nashville plays the Pittsburgh Riverhounds right here at home at First Tennessee Park. But first, much more to deal with the Birmingham Legion as we welcome you back to our halftime presented by Nissan. And welcome up to our broadcast position. I'm John Freeman, joined by a former MLS player, Jamie Watson. And, well, there weren't a lot of chances in the first half. Let's go ahead and jump right into our first half highlights. And Birmingham got things going pretty quickly, but Matt Pickens standing up to the task for Nashville SC.
Well, every time Nashville SC needed their goalkeeper to come up with a save, he was there. The combination of Jimmy Ockford, Forrest Lasso, and Matt Pickens have been so stout defensively. Pickens does a great job shuffling across, getting himself set, gets a little bit of help from the post as Culbertson snaps the header down early on. But for Birmingham, never a really dangerous chance. On the other end, Alan Wynn has been the best player going forward for Nashville SC. This was a good effort early on. Tested Matt Van Oekel. You're thinking he's going far post, cuts it across near post. Matt LaGrassa from his attacking mid-roll, a different role than what he's used to playing. That late run, getting on the end of a Darnell King cross there, putting it right into the stomach of Matt Van Oekel.
A couple standard issue saves from Van Oekel. This was one of the better looks of the half. Nashville just could not apply a finishing touch across that came fizzing across the box, and that's how we got to 0-0 at halftime. Not a whole lot of opportunities in it, and Matt Pickens 1 half of scoreless soccer away from his 100th career clean sheets.
Well, he's looked the part tonight, and every time his team has needed him, he's done a great job, both making the save asked of him, but then organizing and coming out and collecting when the ball gets played in behind the back line for Nashville. So Matt Pickens will certainly, as he kisses the post, claps the fan, he shows his appreciation, and the fans show their appreciation back for the man who's been a stalwart for this team defensively, a team that's third in the league with only 25 goals against all season. They'll need to continue to put the 0 up if they want to go and chase 3 points here tonight.
The team on the left desperately trying to acquire points to keep themselves in contention for the playoffs. They are 10th right now, with Charleston chasing over the weekend. They would love a buffer against the Battery, and the boys in gold with still aspirations to finish at the front of the league at the end of this regular season. Keep in mind, Nashville without Lebo Meloto and Cameron Lancaster tonight. Daniel Rios is available on the bench, coming off a 2-match injury where they held him out more of precaution to alleviate a lingering injury. He is available for action tonight. The man who has benefited from the injuries of Cameron Lancaster and Daniel Rios is Ropapa-Mensah. How would you rate his first half, Jamie?
He showed flashes for me, John. I don't think that there were times in which that he really asserted himself as much as he would have liked or his teammates would have liked, but it's not for a lack of effort. He's certainly putting himself about, and I'd like to see him try to get in behind a little bit more than what we saw. You've got Alan Wynn, Matt LaGrassa creating in behind you. Carlton Belmar certainly has the speed on the outside, so look to just get in behind and stretch the field.
Nashville's first venture into the attacking third in front of their supporters. Kyle Culbertson again up to the task.
And just as you say that, great hold-up play from Mensah, plays out to Belmar, and then gets a lung-busting run into the box. He doesn't get any service on the end, but that's exactly what I imagine Gary Smith would have said to Mensah, and you see it within the first minute or two of the second half.
We do know what Gary Smith had to say to his players. We can start Kelly Glendenning talk to the coach. Kelly, what'd you hear when you talked to Gary Smith?
Jamie, you actually hit it right on the head when you were talking about Alan Wynn out there on the flanks. Gary said that he thought the first half had a refined feel to it with solid play on the flanks, but he still wants more production out there. He had praise for Ken Tribbett, saying he, quote, did a sturdy job in the midfield. He also gave a shout out to Bolo Akinyode and wants to see him continue to break up Birmingham there in the midfield. John?
Kelly, great point there. I think Ken was fantastic in that first half. After getting that yellow card in the second minute, he really asserted himself in the half, and as the half wore on, he looked the most dangerous off the set pieces. Did a great job dropping into the back line, giving a third center back at times so King and Davis could get high. Fantastic point down on the field, Kelly.
Do note that Ken Tribbett and Darnell King both have yellow cards acquired in the first half for Nashville SC. For Birmingham, J.J. Williams, the lone player who was cautioned. Brian Wright had just single-digit touches in the first half. Rolled to Kasim. Lunging tackle from Tribbett, forcing Kasim backwards. Harivo trying to shake the defense of Davis. Mirrors him with every step. Now Avila. Stalked by Wynn. Kasim. Expertly switched to Culbertson. He's found a pocket of space. Has had his cross parried out by Carlton Belmar.
It's really good positioning from Nashville defensively, because at one point Harivo has the ball inside the box and he's able to only see a player that is behind him, and they regress from that position, and Culbertson gets fortunate with the deflection that goes out for a corner kick. But defensively, very good positioning from Nashville to come into that shell, and ultimately they concede a corner unluckily.
Coca-Cola corner kick in the 50th minute. It's Avila to provide the service. And can Tribbett to provide the denial. Well, Fans Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Culbertson. It's a tantalizing service. Could not clear Lasso. Nashville chance to decamp from the defensive end, and it's Alan Wynn galloping forward to the choppier part of the turf. Cantered his way out. He's been whistled for fouling Akeem Moore.
Really good defending from Nashville, but then breaking out. The touch pops up on Davis, but it's so smart to just let it glance off the side of your head, put it to the path of Alan Wynn, and starts to win the foot race. But ultimately, it's a great job by Kyle Fisher of just cutting down the angle and ultimately guiding Wynn out of bounds. Good defending on the other end from Fisher.
Avila. Williams. It's a clever idea. Avila was impeded on his way. He's been taken down in a position that could provide a shot on target. Test that man, Matt Pickens.
Matt Pickens doing a good job of setting his wall there, 4 plus a runner to go and close it down. But great little change of pace from Avila. Gets the wrong side of Tribbett, and it's just a slight little nudge. It's one of those that goes either way. Sometimes it just throws the forward off Avila there, and this is the one that Matthew Thompson was just behind, and he deemed it to be too much of a pull from Tribbett. So this is a spot in which you start to see Akeem Ward standing over it, and Culbertson as well with the left side. Excuse me, Haribo standing over it, and Kasim standing over it. So Culbertson teeing it up on the left foot, Haribo standing over with the right foot, providing 2 different looks for Pickens.
Well, the duo of Culbertson and Haribo have only combined to score 1 goal this season. It was Culbertson who did it. It's Haribo towards right. Clanged off the midsection or head of Alan Wynn. Haribo sent it through the wickets of LaGrassa and then has wrestled down Justin Davis. So what that told us is there is no free kick specialist perhaps on this Birmingham team, as they preferred that scripted routine.
I think we figured that out quickly. They went for something from the training ground instead of having a go, and head coach Tommy Sohn talking to assistant coach Connell Smith there. Can imagine not pleased with what they just saw, but pleasing for me was Justin Davis coming over, cutting down the angle, and doing a great job of defending, getting himself in between Haribo and the ball, shepherding it out, and that's what you want to see. That's why Gary Smith said he was preferred today at left back over Taylor Washington. He was at a very good 2019 season. It's that experience in those moments of knowing when to just cut the angles down and get your team a goal kick so you can reset and go again offensively.
Now here we are in the 54th minute. Nashville needing a goal to keep its slim regular season title hopes alive. Just how much longer can they wait to keep Daniel Rios on the sideline? He's returning from a 2-match layoff. His fitness not quite full 90 ready. But he is the most dangerous player, the most lethal striker in this entire soccer park. Right now, idles on the bench, but is preparing to enter.
Laying in wait, it seems, just waiting for that moment to get the head nod from Gary Smith. And the longer this game goes 0-0, it's going to beg for a striker of Rios's caliber, a talisman in front of goal, a guy who just has a knack for being in the right spot, can do it a multitude of ways, right foot, left foot, can do it with the head. He's a player that's so dynamic. It's so hard to mark, and it's good to see him back in the 18 tonight, and you just wonder what impact Daniel Rios will have on the game tonight, John.
17 goals this season for Rios. First in the USL Eastern Conference, even after missing the last 2 games.
Very good from Tribbett there.
And they sprung Alan Wynn with Ropampa to his right. A late run arriving from Carlton Belmar. The dummy comes from LaGrassa. It's Belmar! Stooping save from Matt Van Oekel.
Well, the Birmingham goalkeeper, Matt Van Oekel, had to be sure-handed. Lovely dummy from LaGrassa. It gets both defenders to freeze, allowing Belmar that half a yard of space to get the shot off. And he struck it sweetly. You could just tell from his reaction. You knew he hit it clean. But Van Oekel had done a good job of coming out to the top of his 6, cutting down the angle, getting all of the mechanics right, and holding on to it, not giving up a rebound.
It was Belmar who scored perhaps the most magnificent goal of the season for Nashville. If you consider the weight of it, it was a second-half strike against Tampa Bay on the road against the Rowdies just a few weeks ago. Here is Darnell King, who was off balance. The game's starting to open up. Hey fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy.
Game-changing from USL to go to the academy level and give these youngsters a real platform.
Things are heating up on the field and on the sideline as well, where our Kelly Glendenning stands. Kelly, what do you have for us?
Guys, Stacey Daniels of Nashville's technical staff passed along some good information from the sideline. Distance covered in the first half, most of that was by Ken Tribbett. Number of sprints, Alan Wynn had the most of those. And then the fastest on the field for Nashville was Carlton Belmar. He clocked in at 20.7 miles per hour. And just for comparison, Leonard Fournette, running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he clocked a 22.6 mile per hour run in a game this season. So that just goes to show how fast Carlton Belmar is moving out there. Back to you, John.
Leonard Fournette, Odell Beckham last night on Monday Night Football, hitting similar type speeds. It just shows how in tremendous shape Stacey Daniels and his staff has this team.
Here is Belmar testing those wheels. Controlling the airspace again is Van Oekel.
That's so insightful from Kelly, dropping that just casual knowledge right there of 20 miles an hour. I mean, that is blistering acceleration and pace. But for me, Carlton Belmar has started a little bit deeper. So he's running at those top end speeds, but he's starting 15 to 20 yards deeper than he probably would prefer to be. So if he gets higher up the field with that speed, he'll get chances in behind.
Culbertson, his cross, forcing right into the near corner. A duel with Justin Davis as well to expel the ball from the end line. Can be worked by Birmingham. And a shot from beyond the gates from Kasib, well wide. Birmingham will be making its first substitution of the evening momentarily. And there it is. There's the figure of Daniel Johnson, who will replace Eric Avila. Johnson bringing in 6 goals this season. That'll be the most of any Birmingham player on the field, matching J.J. Williams. Johnson, a player who grew up in Georgia, moved to the West Ham Academy at age 13, played for the Chicago Fire, making his way back to the United States, and now in his 26th appearance for the Legion.
And he comes on with a little bit of information tactically of where to shift, and maybe Birmingham, as we start to hit the 60th minute, maybe starting to look defensively how to tighten up to make sure that they take more calculated chances going forward. But Daniel Johnson is a very crafty player. Similar to Eric Avila, a player that can get in these good spots with good movement, plays the ball, continues to run on, and he's a player that'll be dangerous from Birmingham, as you mentioned, with 6 goals on the season.
Birmingham holding a high line on this set piece. It's towards Tribbett, met by Laurent. Kassim a chance to begin the outbreak. So our first look at Johnson. And fans, Nashville SC's next home game will be this Saturday, September 21st at First Tennessee Park against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Single game tickets available online at NashvilleSC.com. Gary Smith was telling us when we talked to the coach earlier this week, felt like his team has to win this game to make that one as large as it should be, with the Riverhounds coming in at 5th in the standings, but a game in hand to Nashville SC. Things are so tight in that top 5.
A big 6-pointer, and you said it at half, John, so expertly. You said these next 3 halves will be very important for Nashville, alluding to this second half and both halves in that matchup against Pittsburgh. And you're absolutely right. Schedule is so favorable, so kind. Yes, they are difficult matches, but they are here at First Tennessee Park, a venue in which Gary Smith will feel his side should be taking maximum points each time they step on the field. And tonight's no different, and certainly that matchup, that big matchup in the Eastern Conference on Saturday night will be as well.
Darnell King. Alan Wynn has stayed on side. Forwards arriving for the harvest. Wynn's cross held by Lopez. 2 former UNC grads battling. It's the most recent one who's whistled for the foul.
Ball just bounces up off the pitch, and a little bit of spin takes it up and over Alan Wynn's head, but he astutely reads the body language of Mikey Lopez, and if Mikey Lopez was a little bit taller, that would be on the chest. It would be no issue, but due to the diminutive size of the captain for Birmingham, it's up high, and rightly so, is whistled for a foul.
You can see at the top of your screen, Daniel Rios pacing back and forth on the sideline.
That's what the game's been missing, because it's been good interchange, good build up to the final third, yet there hasn't been any instinctive runs in the box that separates any of the forwards inside the box. Alan Wynn has been in so many good spots tonight, John, to be able to play the ball in, yet there's never been a clear-cut option in the box to pick out. That's what Daniel Rios does. That's his difference. That's why he has 17 goals on the season, his ability to get open in the box and then execute inside the box.
Preparations nearly complete for Rios. Also told Taylor Washington will be entering this match shortly.
He's there, we promise. Just tying his shoe underneath the signage there.
Clearly wasn't looking at a notebook. Here's Prosper Kassim. Overlapping is Johnson. Cross comes in low, and it's an important stop from a sliding Forrest Lasso. It was Brian Wright who had turned it on frame. Heroic defending from Lasso. The game wide open now as Darnell King auditioning Culbertson, continuing his run, and Culbertson's been excellent tonight, bottling up those Nashville attacks down that far flank.
He absolutely has, but make no mistake about it, John, at the other end, this is the kind of play in a game that if Nashville want to go and get maximum points for, we might circle back to this moment in the 63rd minute when Forrest Lasso reads the game perfectly, stays on his feet, makes himself big, reads the game and gets in between and makes a crucial block at the right moment on Brian Wright.
We're getting close to Legion time, a team that scores so many goals in the last 15 minutes of their matches. First the corner from Nashville. It's Ken Tribbett. Could not slide it through traffic. Davis reloads. Belmar. We out-muscled Harivo. Left the ball rolling. So Nashville will make its first substitution. And Alan Wynn has run himself into the ground. And Taylor Washington Bring a full tank of gas in. So Wynn's night is complete. Here comes Taylor Washington. Player who's second on the team in chances created, 33 this season. Comes in with exactly 100 crosses on the year. He is somebody that provides service over and over and over again in games, but doesn't have that explosive step, that incisiveness that Wynn does. How does that change the match, Jamie?
Well, I think that it's a very good 65 minutes from Allen Wynn, a very good account for himself. Now Washington, who's played in that left back role, but with the comfort of knowing you've got Justin Davis behind you, he can push on a little bit higher, look to get service in, as you said. Chances created, that's what he's best at, getting balls into the box, and it just sets up now. At what point does Daniel Rios come into the match and look to be the benefactor of those chances that Washington is so good at creating?
Well, fans, join us Saturday, September 28th for the official away match viewing party at the Mainstay East Nashville. That is the last regular season home match, away match of the season for Nashville. It'll come at Loudon later this month. It's the last thing on the minds right now of these players. Player closest to the camera there, Derek Jones, also an option tonight. Has not played in over 100 days after an injury in a midsummer match against Charleston in the U.S. Open Cup.
And I just think tonight may be a night that you temper the expectations. Yes, you get Derek Jones back into the fold, back on the bench, but with a game like this, is the game that you want to get him on for the first time. Clever turn from Brian Wright, but wonderful cover from Jimmy Ockford. I just don't know tonight about Derek Jones. Maybe if the game lends itself to a more favorable scoreline, that's when you look to implement him back into the lineup for the first time off of a really nasty injury. But the likes of Daniel Rios getting back in, this game is calling for somebody who's got this contagious ability about him to just lift the spirits of the players. And when Rios is on the field collectively, you start to think that this team feels as though they always have a goal in them.
In a rare realm is Forrest Lasso. He went for glory. Clean save from the supporter.
Hey, look, Pickens is on 100th clean sheet in his career, but if anything happens, the fan that just cleanly snagged that in the supporter section may need a look from Gary Smith. That's what the big eruption of the fans and the supporters here at First Tennessee Park was all about.
Did not leave a juicy rebound.
No, that was much better than what we've seen at times here tonight.
Williams grappling with Lasso. Down the line from Davis. Kept in play by Washington.
Oh, so close from LaGrassi. He's just trying to stick the outside of the right foot in to spring Washington in behind. Good interchange between Davis, Washington, and LaGrassi.
Foraging from the far side. Mensah compensated by Culbertson.
That's where Mensah has to hold the ball up. He's got to get his foot on the ball, evade the first defender, and able to get his teammates involved from that position. You can't just turn it back over when you break pressure.
Now substitution for the visitors. Razak Cromwell will enter, and Brian Wright is out. Take me through this one, Jamie. Brian Wright, a forward that has scored 4 goals this season for Birmingham, being replaced by Cromwell. who moonlights as a defensive midfielder but has not scored this season.
Well, I think you said everything right there. 20 minutes left on the road. We talked about what both teams want, and for Birmingham, they're going to look to lock it down. So what's the chess match between Tommy Sohn and Gary Smith? Okay, you bring on Cromwell as a defender. We'll call the name Daniel Rios up to try to counteract that. And as he puts the jersey on, that'll surely send the faithful here at First Tennessee Park into raptures as they see their man, their goal scorer, their talisman, get his jersey on and get set to enter back into the match.
So Birmingham adding extra armor in Cromwell. Nashville will shortly add an arrow in Daniel Rios. But first, a set piece. And a chance for the center backs to venture forward. Jimmy Ockford and Forrest Lasso, the interested parties.
Ken Tribbett has been able to get on the end of most of these all evening. He's the man to keep an eye on, number 6.
Comes in towards Tribbett. The leaping Laurent there to deny it. He's off the head of Culbertson and out for the Coca-Cola corner kick. Daniel Rios is awaiting at the scores table. We'll have to wait for the next dead ball. 72nd minute. Nashville needing a goal to keep its slim title hopes alive. Appeals for a handball. It's a quick touch from Ropampa into a crowd of Legion players. Matthew Thompson uninterested. Nashville heaving into the night. It's Jimmy Ockford! And Van Oekel staying balanced and preserving the clean sheets.
A smart header from Jimmy Ockford. We'll take a look at this from behind, because this is the angle that we see it from here, John. And Jimmy Ockford, knowing it's just about looping it up and over. He's not going to get much power, but you can certainly try to get the angles right. And we'll look right down the line. Matt Van Oekel, great control of his body to understand as he starts to fall back into the net to extend the arms, hold it clearly out in front of the line. He's able to keep that inches from going over the line, but a very good save from Van Oekel. It's not easy backpedaling as a goalkeeper, understanding where you are, having the presence and the wherewithal to know that your momentum is going to carry you into the goal, but all you need to do is keep your arms extended out and keep the ball over the line. That's exactly what Matt Van Oekel does in that moment.
Oh, a turnover, and it's Ropampa bearing in! Fantastic save from Van Oekel. Had to stay sturdy. Pressure mounting, PSI increasing at First Tennessee Park.
Oh, and Birmingham Legion just sloppily giving the ball away, and Ropampa-Mensah's touch just before he goes to shoot it takes him away from a fortuitous angle, and Matt Van Oekel is able to cut down the angle and push it wide. And this will be the end of the night for Ken Tribbett. I thought a very good performance from the big man, especially after getting a yellow card in the 2nd minute, being in control of himself the rest of the game, being very dangerous off set pieces. But now you bring in Daniel Rios off the bench. This is a guy that they want to look to get as many opportunities as possible. And Mensah, you can see his touch taking him away from goal. He can't get enough on it to beat Van Oekel, but a big corner here for Nashville.
It's lobbed in. Belmar back into a good spot. And now Birmingham a chance to break with Prosper Kasim. The lone man on watch was Darnell King, who's attempted to slam the ball out of this stadium. So Nashville was in a 4-2-3-1 formation to start this game. They now have 2 out-and-out strikers on the field, Jamie, and Daniel Rios and Ropampa-Mensah.
Yeah, you really now are going to test the back line, and Fisher, Laurent, Ward, Culbertson, they're going to have to be very alert now because you have 2 different type of players. Mensah, who can be able to stretch the field with pace if he's got the workhorse of Rios next to him, and the big body Rios being able to hold it up and create for himself. It's It's fire and ice type look, and Gary Smith has given himself the best opportunity, he thinks, to go and get the game's first goal.
Do not forget that Birmingham is most venomous late in matches. Over 40% of their goals this season have been scored after the 75th minute. Nashville a chance to find the breakthrough. It's Daniel Rios.
Good touch from Bolo Akinyode. LaGrassa read the play well. Rios just waiting for something to come about. Wasn't able to find anything.
It's time to vote for today's Budweiser Man of the Match. Find the poll at the official Nashville SC Twitter account at Nashville SC. Astounding haul of goals for Daniel Rios. Had 20 last year for North Carolina. Looking for back-to-back 20-goal seasons.
Better than a goal every other game. That's the benchmark for forwards, and you get one every 2 games. Those are great numbers. He's better than that on the year.
Intricate build-up from Birmingham. Kassim. Culbertson. Cromwell turned it right over to Daniel Rios. Gallivanting forward.
Rios ran out of options as Mensah ran himself into an offside position. Had to take an extra touch and ends up giving it away.
Lopez. He's gone for it himself. And ramped up off of a Nashville defender in the eyes of Matthew Thompson. It sets up the Coca-Cola corner kick that has been much disputed since it crossed the inline.
Moment of hesitation and indecision of who that deflected off of, and you can see the referees conferring, but ultimately they give the corner kick, and Nashville need to be alert here in the 78th minute. Johnson's over it.
Coca-Cola corner kick for Birmingham. And it will require a duo. Tense times at First Tennessee Park. Once again embargoed by LaGrassa. Retrieved by Johnson. Into the top netting. Well, the chips are on the table, Jamie. Daniel Rios out there for Nashville. Birmingham, you still don't get the feeling like they would settle for a point. I feel like they are still going with an honest attempt to secure 3 of their own.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they've played the game in a good spirit, and in the last couple of minutes, they've actually started to pick up a little bit of momentum. But if you're Nashville, you need to try to close that gap in between. Right now, the front 2 of Mensah and Rios is a little head-to-head collision here. This is Akinyode.
It's actually Rapapa Mensah.
Rapapa Mensah, excuse me there. Going up for the collision there. Saw the 3 on the back of the jersey and assumed that was Akinyode as he's advanced on as the half wore on, but Mensah going up in a little clash of heads and checking to make sure that he's okay. And just think there's a little bit too big of a gap between Rios and Mensah up front. Brave header collision between Fisher and Mensah. That's allowing Birmingham to pick up more of the second balls right now, and Nashville needs to start to close that space to try to get forward a little bit and be able to press on a little bit higher than they are right now. An important 10 minutes for Gary Smith and his side. How the rest of the season's going to play out. Look, a point will do them favors. That'll help them inch closer to securing a playoff spot. But boy, what would 3 points do and help securing a home playoff spot for Nashville?
Well, it would send tonight's Ashton Real Estate attendance of 5,702 into raptures. We've seen late winners in this building before. A match that has leveled out relatively here in this second half. Belmar. Belmar's cross denied by Culbertson. He's seeking Ropapa-Mensah. Double effort. This is what the Legion like to do. Break out after a team's committed numbers forward. Exasperated Carlton Belmar whistled for the foul.
Good work defensively from Belmar and LaGrassa, and he feels as though he won the ball. That's why it made its way to Darnell King, but Matthew Thompson, the referee tonight, saw it differently.
Turned over in a tricky area. Here is Williams. Turning past LaGrassa, and he spun it on target. Or did it fly over? I thought there was a nick from Matt Pickens. Nevertheless, fangs out late for J.J. Williams.
Great strength from the man on loan from the Columbus Crew, and I think it actually takes a nick off the top of the crossbar. It looked as though Matt Pickens, at first glance, I was with you, John, thinking that he got a hand to it as well, but so much power in it. I think it just glances off the crossbar up and over, and a warning sign to exactly what we heard from head coach Gary Smith. They're dangerous on the counterattack. They're dynamic, and J.J. Williams has been held in check for the most part by Forrest Lasso, and Jimmy Ockford all night is able to get a turn and a strike inside the box and hits that with such venom.
How about this? Gary Smith is going for it. Offensive substitutions with Daniel Rios and soon to be Tucker Hume. Player who has played just 8 minutes over the last 3.5 months, has only scored 1 goal this season, but he is an agent of chaos. Tall, bulky.
Everything you're saying there, you're absolutely right, and that's why in a game like this where you're getting service, where you're bringing on Taylor Washington, who supplies so much service on the near side, throw on the big man, Tucker Hume. Get on the end of it. You have Rios there to get the knockdowns from it, or Hume to get shots off on target. And this is a good roll of the dice. I like this substitution from Gary Smith.
And he wants to make it quickly, and he will be allowed to do so. Carlton Belmar's night is done. And in comes the towering forward in Tucker Hume. 6'5".
And as he came on, he mentioned to Ropapa-Mensah, looked as though he pointed back to the right mid position where Belmar is left. So Hume going up next to Daniel Rios up top.
Nashville, a furious press, nearly yielding results. Instead, it's exploited an open end of the area. On the right side, it's Mikey Lopez. And Forrest Lasso, emphatically and very frustratingly, out for the Coca-Cola corner kick.
Yep. Wasn't pleased giving up that corner kick because he knows this is the moment with 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. A set piece right now is so vital for Birmingham. They can get all of their big men up front to try to get on the end of the set piece from Culbertson.
Goalmouth territory in dispute. Matthew Thompson over to mediate. Hooked in. Sure-fisted from Pickens. Ward. It's a heat-seeking cross. With that touch in Nashville hand. The answer, according to Matthew Thompson, is no. Remember, this is an official that has not given a penalty kick in 6 straight. Birmingham player off your screen down, and you can see Williams, who's face down. Well, the votes are in. Tonight's Budweiser Man of the Match, voted on by you, the fans, is number 33, Forrest Lasso. Fitting selection in a 0-0 game.
Lasso's done everything that you could possibly have asked of the big man. He's been in the right positions. He's won the headers he's needed to, and very deserving of the Budweiser Man of the Match award tonight.
Legion will make a substitution shortly. Reminder that all assistance injured players provided by Vanderbilt Health. There's a figure of Gail Mabiala, Frenchman who played his college soccer in Birmingham, was a Blazer at UAB. Here in his first professional season, less than 500 minutes in it, being thrown right into the fire.
Getting some last-minute instructions from assistant coach Cano Smith, and player, as you mentioned, from UAB, played for the Birmingham Hammers as well with a few other teammates. Mathieu played there. Kusera, who's on the bench. Goes to show how important this expansion into different markets that the USL Championship is doing, the local product it has to pull from, making their way into the professional ranks and making an impact in the first year.
Williams back from his stint on the sideline. Healthy and moving. The supporters emptying their lungs, trying to will this team forward. Williams, Kassim has Lopez arriving to the right. Able to pick out the dashing midfielder. Now Harivo has invoked Johnson forward, but too far.
Can't even begin to stress how important the challenge was in the body positioning of Justin Davis to not allow Mikey Lopez to be in an angle in which he could receive the ball, because if Lopez gets that, he's one-on-one with Pickens.
Here is the substitution, is Mabiala, who will replace J.J. Williams. And at this point, Jamie, do you get the feeling that Birmingham is pulling up the drawbridge?
Yeah, and you don't blame them, do you? they'll be a bit more satisfied of the two teams if the scoreline remains the same at the end of the game. And to come into First Tennessee Park and get a result, to walk away with a point would be immense for them as they're fighting for their playoff lives. And look, they're still trying to look to chances to break out. Mikey Lopez in particular is abandoning all defensive responsibility on the near side and just looking to push the line and get the opportunities. And just feel that there's going to be one more real opportunity for Nashville left in this game.
Will it be Daniel Rios? Wide for Mensah. The cross comes in towards Rios. It falls from out. LaGrossa off the post. Nashville inches away.
LaGrossa does brilliantly to stay over it. It's a deflection, and everyone turns and looks and sees it goes off the face of Van Oekel's goal.
Justin Davis testing his flexibility with the slide tackle and whistled for the foul, which will take quite some time for Birmingham to put back into play after seeing a glimpse of what could have been for this visiting side. Almost an empty result, if not for just a few inches in the goalpost.
And when that comes off of LaGrossa's foot, he does everything in his body shape to stay over it and strike down. And I know Forrest Lasso was the Budweiser man of the match, but that might be Birmingham's man of the match at the moment in the 91st minute. That post, this game's about inches and inches away from Nashville from taking the lead.
Can the Legion nick it at the death? Peels at that one off the hand of Jimmy Ockford. LaGrossa has stoked this forward, kindled the counterattack at the feet of Ropapa-Mensah. Decisive pass from King. Heavy touch from LaGrossa. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Nearly 2 minutes of those down. Akinyoti storming forward. Mensah preparing his cross. Oh, he's blown right by Culbertson. Snapped out for the Coca-Cola corner kick from Machu Lawrence.
Lovely skill from Mensah to just give Culbertson the oop-de-oop, dip the shoulder, cut over to the right, but the service needed a little bit more. A little bit across the face of the six would have done a little bit more damage there and had the Legion players running towards their own goal. Instead, a corner is conceded right in front of the Nashville supporters. You've seen this script before, haven't you, John? Late in the game, in front of the supporters.
Deep, deep in the Tennessee Knights. Can Nashville find the winner? Headed down and turned in! With every fiber in their title-craving souls, they have found the breakthrough. Somehow, golden, golden glory at the death.
You couldn't write a script better for this. It's unfortunately an own goal that gets turned in. But one team's misfortune is another team's 3 points, and Nashville does everything they can to crowd the box. They get the exact service they need from Justin Davis, and a lovely header back across the face of goal. Jimmy Ockford, the man on loan from San Jose Earthquakes, gives his team a chance, and with the crowd of bodies crashing on Matt Van Oekel, it gets turned in. And it's off the right knee of Akeem Ward. And Prosper Kasim must do better on the goal line. In the dying embers of the game, Nashville cues up a moment of glory.
Fists and smoke and scarves thrust to the sky. And Nashville on the verge of another late winner in this park. They are merchants of madness. And now just seconds remaining. And Matt Pickens just seconds away from his 100th career clean sheets. And is there more? It's Rios, lobbed in towards Hume. All eyes on Matthew Thompson. We're past the allotted 4 minutes. Slammed away by LaGrassa. Rios is onside. Culbertson went flying in. Rios continues. And Hume will strut his way to the corner, and that is it! Clean sheet number 100 for Matt Pickens. And the boys in gold just will not bow out of this title race. Not tonight. Not in Tennessee. Pushed to the brink, Jamie Watson. They found a way.
And look what it means to the Nashville SC players. On a perfect night in Nashville, you get a perfect performance from this defense. And then the perfect ending with less than 90 seconds in the game. Justin Davis dials up the perfect set piece from the corner in front of the supporters. Jimmy Ockford rises above, whips it back across the face of goal. There's a crowd of bodies. And Akeem Ward unfortunately sticks his right knee out, guides it towards his own goal, and turns it in. And it's the second consecutive night in which the match entered extra time, and Nashville dials up a moment of magic. Dare I say, a season-turning, maybe a season-defining moment to get 3 points and push them just 1 point. Just 1 point, John, off the top of the Eastern Conference in the USL Championship.
Nashville will go to sleep tonight, if they can go to sleep tonight, in third place. Plenty more to talk about in this one. Nashville, the late winner over Birmingham. All of our stats and all of our highlights when we return from First Tennessee Park on a wild night in Middle Tennessee. 2 pints, 3 points at First Tennessee Park on a special Tuesday night. I take it back. It wasn't that special of a night because this is now becoming the regular here at First Tennessee Park. Stoppage time winners for Nashville SC. They have done it again. We don't know yet how it will be scored, whether it was an own goal or Jimmy Ockford will get credit for the goal. Nevertheless, it gives Nashville 3 points. Matt Pickens, he would have had his 100th clean sheet anyway, but nevertheless, what a night it was for Nashville SC. On a night it absolutely had to have 3 points to stay in the title race. They get all 3 of those points. I'm John Freeman, joined by Jamie Watson. Let's go ahead and take a look at our save of the match. And we had to scrounge for one when we were going through our highlights. Matt Pickens didn't have a busy night, but when he was called on, he was up to the task.
He really was, and it was the combination of Jimmy Ockford, Forrest Lasso, and Matt Pickens with the save of the game here. And this was an important moment in the match in the first half in which the game was kind of going back and forth. And if Pickens isn't alert off of his line, strong, brave in the challenge, J.J. Williams has the opportunity to get the game's first goal, but instead, he makes that save, which is our save of the game, and ultimately he makes all the saves needed and all the saves that were asked of him. And tonight, he won't soon forget 100 career shutouts for Matt Pickens. What an incredible achievement. He was stellar on the night. His back four in front of him was really good, and I'm sure if you talk to him, he'll give all the credit to the men in front of him, but what a game plan dialed up defensively from Gary Smith, carried out by the players on the field, and Matt Pickens will get all the accolades, and deservedly so, for career shutout number 100.
Nashville gets its 7th win at home this season. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other numbers as we compare the stats in this one. They were relatively even in the first half, Jamie, and then completely skewed towards Nashville in the second half. When you look at the final, Nashville clearly the more attacking team in this one.
Yeah, they played the game in the spirit in which they wanted to go out and get 3 points from the get-go, and at halftime, a little bit more possession. Birmingham got control of the ball a little bit more in the second half to get those numbers back to fairly even, but I think you always felt as though Nashville were in the ascendancy, and as the game started to creep along, apart from a few chances on a counterattack for Birmingham, it was always going to be Nashville that looked to be the team to go and get the game's first goal, and they did that in the dying moments, and ended up being the only goal of the game for what I would say is a deserved 3 points for Nashville SC tonight.
And you also have to give credit to Birmingham. They made a game. They didn't come here and just bunker in like a lot of teams have done when coming on the road against such a high-powered team like Nashville. This is a legit team, and also one that I know nobody wants to meet in the postseason, and never know, could be a matchup that we see later on in the year. Here are our standings. Birmingham still at 10th. There are no other games in the Eastern Conference, so nobody was in danger of being leaked tonight. However, Nashville does jump over Tampa Bay and now lead the Rowdies by a point. Do keep in mind that Tampa Bay does have a game in hand, but then also this sets up a monster matchup on Saturday night against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, a team that is 2 games back from Nashville SC and will come here craving all 3 points if they want to achieve their aspirations of leaping Nashville and finishing top 4.
Yeah, it'll be a big matchup, and you know, you look at the final couple games of the season, they're all of the highest of importance, but with only 1 game left on the schedule on the road for Nashville, a plethora of home games, and they always fancy themselves at First Tennessee Park, and they got a big 3 points here tonight and need to follow that up on Saturday against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Well, the fans leave First Tennessee Park happy. They will return again on Saturday night, a 7 o'clock kickoff against the surging Pittsburgh Riverhounds. In fact, Birmingham and Pittsburgh, when you take the top teams out of the last 8 games in the USL Eastern Conference, it's those 2, Birmingham and Pittsburgh. The gauntlet has been set for Nashville. They have passed the first test. They get the second one on Saturday night against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, big opportunity to cement themselves in the race for a home playoff, and with this win, you have to include them in the discussion of maybe even going top in the East. It was a moment in which we may look back on and say that late goal could be the difference when we're talking home playoffs throughout, or even a home match here at First Tennessee Park, but a very, very big, vital 3 points for Gary Smith and his side tonight.
Jamie, first time here on the broadcast for us in Nashville, and certainly appreciate all of your time and what you did on this broadcast. It was a special moment to broadcast with you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody for the crew, and enjoyed it, and all the best the rest of the way for this Nashville SC team.
Safe travels home, Jamie, and we will call it a night from First Tennessee Park. For Jamie Watson, I'm John Freeman, and the rest of our crew saying so long from Middle Tennessee, where Nashville SC has stolen it at the death, and now they will face Pittsburgh on Saturday night. That is when we will talk to you next, but first, enjoy the sights and sounds of a wild Tuesday night at First Tennessee Park, and we'll talk to you on the weekends.